Hey, Ralph, did you catch the latest twist in the real life chess game between the US, Europe, and Russia? It's like a new episode of Diplomacy Gone Wild.
Ah, diplomacy, the grand sport of nations. Yes, I saw that the U.S. is making a strategic move asking European countries to lay their cards on the table regarding military support for Ukraine. It's an interesting development given the geopolitical stakes.
Right, Trump's envoy Keith Kellogg is clearly on the circuit to gather intel, but do you really think Europe wants to jump into bed with this negotiation gig without having all the cards?
Well, it's complex. Europe does have skin in the game, but the U.S. is obviously pushing them to commit military resources. This classic push-pull tactic seems to focus on balancing Moscow's demands while appeasing Kiev. History has taught us that Europe's involvement is crucial, but fraught with internal disagreements.
And let's not forget that massive elephant in the room, Putin. Everyone knows he's a master tactician, always several steps ahead. Do you think Kellogg can really play this game without getting, checkmated?
Kellogg's role seems sidelined, doesn't it? Despite his tenure as part of Trump's inner circle, Moscow appears to be focusing on more direct, influential figures like Witkoff. It's quite reminiscent of Cold War negotiations with very defined power players.
More like a game of who's really in charge here. What cracks me up is Europe wants a say at the table, but doesn't want to foot the bill for big contributions. Typical politics, really.
Indeed, European capitals are wary of plunging into substantial military commitment without strong guarantees. It's the age-old struggle, security versus sovereignty. And now, add budgetary constraints to the mix.
The question is, how much are they willing to cough up to be part of the cool kid circle? And is there really any incentive for Russia to negotiate with Kellogg if they see him more as a ceremonial figure?
From the Kremlin's perspective, their preference naturally gravitates towards solid players who align with their narrative. It's a diplomatic chess match. Negotiations driven by interests rather than formal appointments. Still, Kellogg's continuous engagement with Ukraine and Europe might eventually carve out a unique role for him.
Well, it's definitely a tangled web. Let's see if Kellogg can untangle it or if Trump will bench him.